My name is Christiana Milan. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Bright Future Show where we make futures bright. First of all, I want to wish you a happy new year to each and every one of you. It is a new year and it will be a new beginning. In my first video, we talked about how you should carry yourself as a teen. We looked upon self-control and we saw that self-control, it is a problem to most especially young teens. For example, if you have a friend and this friend, or maybe there is a group, they start disturbing you or mocking you, how your appearance looks like. You feel like you can just go up to them and just beat them, but in order to control yourself, for example, as I do in myself, if I see that, I just hold my breath and count from 10 to backwards, and then it comes back to me and I feel just safe to myself. But if you do something that you just take a step, it may lead to a major cause that it can even ruin your life. You must control yourself not to go upon that step. And then the second point we talked about, it was obedience. Remember, obedience is the key to everything. Obedience to your adults and even your parents. Your parents are like your second God. You must listen to their warnings. Even if they tell you don't do this, it is not because they hate you, it is because they love you. They know what is right and what is wrong. Even pay obedience to your friends. There's someone who is like age to you. You should not speak them rudely because you see that we are the same age. Even yes, if you perform good and you go to a better job, but you don't have obedience, you will not be employed because of your actions. Obedience is the key to everything and you must learn it now. Even if someone has done something wrong to you, just tell them that I don't want us to be enemies, but because I obey you, I will respect their decision, and you explain to them how they should control themselves. So that is what we talked about in our last video. In today's video, we'll be talking about an interesting topic. It is usually among in like everyone, whether you are young, whether you are an adult. So today I will help you how to control it, and I will take you through this journey. Even when you go through this, you know what to do. The topic of today is peer pressure. Now, in peer pressure, there are two words and they have each meaning, peer and pressure. Now, if I ask you in your mind, what do you think a peer is? A peer is a person who are part of the same social or group. For example, in a class, your classmates are your peers because you are in the same age and you are in the same group. Even in university, you are the same age is something like that of a peer. Now, what are the types of peers? The most common types of peer are single blind, double blind, and open peer review. Over time, new models have developed such as transparent, collaborative, and post-publication peer review, which are key variations from the standard approach. So we'll start with the first point, is where the single blind peer is when the other doesn't know the identity of the reviewer. Is when the group you're occurring to join, they don't know you, so they want to know so that they can take that opportunity to just come over you and command you. The second point is double blind, is when the reviewer doesn't know the identity of the other and vice versa. Other and reviewer benefit from the same level of protection against criticism. So, is when you and the group, you don't know each other, but it's like you're doing an activity together, but the thing that you are doing is like it is unknown, and you cannot benefit it from getting on an answer or getting just something that you can, a good benefit that can help you. So that is the double blind peer. The third is open peer review, is the identity of the other and the reviewer is known by all participants during or after the review process. Also, is when the reviewer are more motivated to do a true job since their names and sometimes comments appear as part of the accepted published article. This is when you do a positive thing. This is where you do things together. you and yourself, the group that is you and you yourself. And when you come together, it gives you a good name and it helps you in the future and also now. Because if you act together, you become one, and you'll become a strong group that when you do something, you'll be successful. This is where we say that you should not work alone. You should have friends by your side so as they can help you to achieve something that you need. The fourth point is transparent peer review. Review report is posted with the published article. Reviewer can choose if they want to share the identity. Others are given the option out of transparent peer review during submission. And the fifth point is collaborative peer. Two or more reviewers work together to submit a unified report or other revises manuscript under the supervision of one or more reviewers. This is where you work together so as you can succeed to what you are doing. The sixth point is post-publication. This is where the review solicited or unsolicited of a published paper does not exclude form of peer review. This approach reflected to evolving nature of knowledge. This is where, for example, as teens, you work together with the people who score higher. You work together maybe with the people who score under, so as you work together, you yourself will gain knowledge, and as you both read, this person tells you what he or she knows, and this person shares what he or she knows, and you'll gain knowledge together and you'll succeed. Now, what is pressure? This occurs around you in your daily life, such as peer pressure, academic pressure, social economic pressure. We ask ourselves, why do teens get peer pressured? People often give into peer pressure because they want to fit in a group, they want to be liked, and they worry that they may be left out or made fun of it if they don't go along with the group. This is where we find most people, like most teens, get peer pressured a lot because they want to fit in a group. And when they join the groups, they become bad like them. For example, there was this person, he was such a nice person. He did that everything was right, he was obedient, he was such a nice person. He went to church, he obeyed his parents. But there is one day when they went to somewhere new, and then he found new group, new people. So he wanted to fit in, he wanted to have friends, he wanted to be liked by other people. So he got proud of himself. When he joined that group, that person started drinking alcohol and taking drugs. He went home late and his parents were worried. His parents thought that maybe their child would change. But what he did, he just went over and over with that behavior. And for now he has reached. He went and his life is ruined. Even his parents called a guide counselor to come and talk to him. That is not a good thing. Even when your parents, they reach a point, they can't deal with you, and they bring a counselor to you so as to talk to you. And this is the bad thing, because even if you are talked to, some others, they have a hard head. They can't listen to what they are told by a counselor. They get the hard way and you might go to the police and be beaten up. That is not a good thing to do. Know yourself, choose your friends wisely, because the thing you do today will determine the thing you do in the future. The next thing is, how do people commonly divert the pressure from themselves? They often blame someone else for something they did. They can also give a reason for why they can or cannot do something. They also make excuses. If you are told that you are the leader of this group and then you said it to someone, and then that person gets into trouble, but you are the main person who was into trouble, you started getting peer pressure. And when you remember that day, you found yourself that even you start being sick, you don't want to eat, and you start becoming because you know that I did the wrong thing and I've ruined for this person his or her future. And when you ruin their future, it comes back to you. You should do the right thing now. If you are doing that thing wrong now and you know that I'm guilty of it, you should tell the truth. You can even share it with your parents. And if you don't feel like it, the person that you trust the most, even if it is your teacher or your friends, you tell them, you share with them, so that it cannot be inside of you all the time. Because if it is inside of you, you get that peer pressure. Now, why is peer pressure so powerful? Why do you think that this peer pressure is so powerful? Everyone occurs in it. No one in this world has never occurred in peer pressure. It happens in everyone because everyone has that personality. It is natural for people to identify with and compare themselves to their peers as they consider how they wish to be or think they should be or what they want to achieve. People are influenced by peers because they want to fit in. Be like peers they admire, do what others are doing or what have others have done. It is not a good thing to follow other people. You yourself, you have a good personality and you are special in your own way. If you follow other people's what are doing, you will not be successful because those other people have another personality that you don't have. Everyone has a special personality because if you follow them, the person who has the best personality will succeed. But if you follow them, you cannot succeed because it is not your personality. It is not your special gift that you are given. So it is good to be yourself. Don't ever think of others and say, I want to be like them. You should be proud of yourself and say, I will succeed so as people me can follow me because what I'm doing. You should also do for your siblings because the younger one follow the older one. They resemble you. They resemble what you are doing and what your behavior. So you should be more like yourself. Be an example of other people. Don't be an example of where it reaches to a point you follow other people. So you should be proud of yourself and be yourself. Now, what is pressure? Pressure, it means the influence that peers can have on each other. Now, what is peer pressure? Peer pressure is the direct influence on the people by their peers, or the effect of an individual who gets encouraged and want to follow their peers by changing the attitude, values, or behavior. For example, if you go to a new school and you see that there are people who are like they are together, and then you look at yourself and see that you are not like them. I should be like them to change the attitude so that I can be in their group. That is not the right thing to do. You must be yourself. Peer pressure is not always a bad thing. Your teen friends may use peer pressure to influence them in a positive manner at some times. The way your teen responds to peer pressure defines who they are as an individual. Their friends may influence everything from what they wear to how they talk to how they even their attitudes are. If your friends make healthy choices among others, those peers may inspire them to try new things and encouraging them. For example, they tell you to join their learning club or football club. You know that thing can help you. It may not lead to something bad. But if they join with the wrong group, they go the wrong path, which may lead them to taking drugs and going to jail. For example, in this year, 2020, in this quarantine, we have seen a lot of things. People are caught taking drugs, taking alcohol, where they go to some parties and be like they are free. That is not the right thing to do. You must carry yourself because the thing that you'll do now will come back to your future. Taking drugs, it leads to a lot of things which can ruin your life forever because they go to your brain, they damage to your brain. And even if you take alcohol, you just be taking and taking and taking and you cannot stop. You must go to guidance and counseling so as to stop that behavior. So if you want to go on the right path, just do what is right but not what is wrong. You should not be affected by peer pressure. So you must learn how to control yourself. There are types of peer pressure. There is spoken, unspoken, direct, indirect, negative, and the positive ones. Now, what is negative peer pressure? Negative peer pressure is when you are told by someone to do this thing that is majorly a bad cause for you. For example, is when someone asks you, let us go to a party, and there, let us go take drugs, let us take alcohol, let us get into this, let us get into that. That is the negative peer pressure. What about positive? Positive is when someone tells you, let us go learning, let us join this football club, let's go at least help some elderly, let us go visit them, let us visit the sick. Those are the positive things. Those are the things that you should do because if someone sees you, they say, hey, this is the girl or boy who has the positive things in them. This is the girl who does this and she's a good girl in this, and you'll be blessed. Now, what is spoken peer pressure? Spoken peer pressure is when a teenager asks or suggests, persuades, or otherwise directs another to engage in specific behavior. It's like when someone tells you, you should not be like this, you should be somehow commanding and doing this, but that is not the right thing. Some even in school do that. Some even your friends in school. Even if you go even to concerts, they tell you, don't behave like this, just behave like that. For example, I remember one time there is a group there. So like this girl was very quiet, and when she went there, like the friends were very commanding and doing this. And then when she tried to talk to them, she told us, if you want to talk to us, just be like this and then you can be among us. That is not how you should be. Trust your instincts on how you should be in yourself. You should not follow other people, because if you do it, you know that what will happen, it may lead to a bad cause. Now, this girl, she was really performing in class. She was doing well. When she saw her friends, she tried talking to them, and then she asked them if you will be my friends. But what they told her that you should be with this behavior so that she can accept you. But when she joined that group, she got that behavior. Her life just got worse, and she never changed because her brain knew that now this is her behavior, and that is how her life got ruined. Now, what is unspoken peer pressure? Unspoken peer pressure is when someone says things to you that push you toward a certain choice. For example, is when somewhere like your friend tells you, let's do, okay, she's not commanding you, but she just request and request and request. And then you yourself gain peer pressure, and then you start asking yourself, should I or should I not? Should I? And then that is when you gain unspoken peer pressure, and then it may lead to a cause that you join that group, you join that position, and that is where you just lose yourself there. The third point is, what is direct peer pressure? Direct peer pressure is a group to another telling him what to do. Is when someone commands you and telling you, do this, do that. Like even in high school, I hear that there is bullying. He or she gives you 5 shillings and then tells you, go and buy me bread and you give me the balance. Like, what is that like? Surely that is when someone sees that you are keeping quiet and you cannot do anything, so that they get to that direct peer pressure. Even they get to a point where they command you. The fourth point is, what is indirect peer pressure? Is when you overhear friends gossiping about another person and then reacts to the person. Is when, for example, you go somewhere and then you hear just a group saying, that girl or that boy, oh, he's doing like this, he's so successful, he's doing this, even his behavior. Now, if you hear that, you also want to be like that because you want to gain fame. So you just go and take that step and be like how they were gossiping. You just be like them so that you see, hey, even me, I want to be just like them. Those are the types of peer pressure. So take some notes and just, if you go anywhere, just see them and it might help you. Well, that is for today. Join me on my next video as I explain the causes of peer pressure. Make sure to subscribe at my YouTube channel at Christiana Milan. Follow me on my Facebook page at Christiana Milan. Also, you can find me on my Instagram page at Christiana Milan. Subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye. Wakati wa huzuni na wafu